Okay, we are here today. I'm so excited. It's Chalk Talk episode 3, and we have a special guest today, Anne Marie Archer with Archer and Associates. Anne Marie has been a decades-long coach of executive leaders of global companies and has sort of seen it all, been around the world. And today we're talking a little bit about how leaders can recognize and lead themselves out of confusion. And a little bit about the way that this topic came about is that we've just both been hearing so much from our leaders lately about, the world seems to be in quite a lot of disruption, some chaos. There isn't as much solid ground. People are not really sure what's coming next. And so a lot of our folks are experiencing this combination of overwhelm and confusion. And so, Anne Marie, just you told me this lovely little anecdote about how confusion feels like a frog that's hopping from lily pad to lily pad and in this ever-changing pond, and that was such a great metaphor for confusion. So, just if you could build a little bit on that, share your thoughts on confusion and how to recognize it and what it feels like.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, Eve. This is wonderful. And I'm glad to contribute to this because I think many of the people, the clients I'm talking to right now, it feels sort of universal that there's areas in people's lives that just aren't working quite the way they used to work. And they're unsure, like all the things that were countable for like that you could predict for data and things just aren't there and they're not sure. So they hop from lily pad to lily pad with the stream moving around them and they're like, where's the context? Where am I? And they've lost their kick with their little froggy feet, going from those lily pads,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
they don't feel like they're in control of their own kick. It's kind of the pads are coming faster than they can kick. And so, the thing to be aware of right now is how you might be feeling, right, in your body. How you might be feeling in
Yeah.
your body is like exhausted, can't quite remember things, like things are disconnected. Things that you might be normally pretty easy for you may not be easy. They might take an extra oomph. You don't want to get out. You don't want to do stuff. You feel kind of powerless, like it's
Mm-hmm.
being done to you, sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So one of the things that we really work on over here in our world is working on keeping what's real is real. So knowing what's actually real for you when you're starting to feel those things. So getting some things complete, getting some things real, what's real right now, so that you get back and where with your kick is your own kick and you're choosing your next step to that lily pad versus feeling like something's being done to you, right?
Yeah. And you talked a little bit about, when you're getting real is to really discern that difference between not how I want it to be, not how I wish it is, not how it might be in the future, but what's really real right now.
Right now. Yeah. Yeah. It puts you back in choice. So often, I don't know about you, but have you ever noticed how we do so much shoulding? Like things should be this way. And when you're in a change process, which is what we're in right now, this is all a big change process. Being able to be aware of it is really helpful because then you go, oh, okay, this is what's happening right now. And to just say what's so right now and not look at, well, that's not how it used to be. And then that's not how it should be. And that's not how I want it in the future. It's like, I got that, but what's happening right now? Because if you can get
Right.
real, you're able then to respond better versus being in reaction mode all the time.
Right.
Right? So just
Yeah.
getting really present of what's happening right now.
Yeah. What's really happening? What are the facts
Right
of
now.
the now? I
Now the
love
now.
that.
Hmm.
I'm going to read this out just because I loved your definition of confusion so much. I actually have it on a sticky note on my desk. And it's confusion is uncertainty with a dose of overwhelm. And that just rang so true for me. One of the things you said next was if you can identify some solid ground, that can be helpful. And so you talked a little bit about some tools and some ways that leaders can just maybe sit down and identify some areas where there's solid ground versus unsolid ground.
Gotcha. Yeah. so let's just keep going with that metaphor, right? Just because we started with it, right? So if you think about water, how it's always constantly moving and changing and shifting, whatever, we're kind of feeling like we're in that right now. And
Right,
can we slow the pond down for just a moment, right? And
right,
what I've noticed that really slows that down is to commit in some way to a form. So paper, a drawing, writing things down. I know for me that really helps me get it from here out of my body. And when I get it out of my body, I can look at it over a period of days sometimes and it becomes clearer because it's not in here, it's out here where I can look at it,
right,
interact with it differently, right? And then you write it down. So, and often some of the things I'll have people write are like, what's working? What is
right.
working in your life? And I'd love for us to stay more in that space than in the what's not
Mhm.
working. We all know there's a lot not working right now. So if we can put the what's working, what's not working, and then we can look at, oh wow, if when you write it down or make a picture, you have to commit to it to write words, right?
Right,
So it gets you to actually say it and you hear it. And then you can use a tool. We have a tool called the Wheel of Life, which many people use. It's a thing you can look them up even on the internet, or you can email me and I'll get it to you. But it's like the Wheel of Life where you put down the categories of your life, family, friends, travel, work, exercise, I don't know, health, whatever, the categories of your life. And you can look at how happy am I in them? Are they working the way I want them to work right now? Are they not? How satisfied am I? And you can kind of look for the what's working, what's not working, and go from there. But commit it to paper in some way, some form.
right. And then from there, you sort of talked about, all right, now that I have, I have kind of a map, I have a map of my life, and hopefully I've gotten a little bit of confidence boost because it's like, oh, there's actually some things that are
Yeah.
working and I can
Yeah.
kind of just allow them to work.
Yeah.
And then I can focus my attention on a few of the things that are not working. And you talked a little bit about kind of that gap analysis and especially, the importance of focus.
Yeah. So this is the thing I've noticed with people, me included, honest, me included. Many of us will look at everything and go, I'm going to go fix everything right now. And here's the thing, when you do that, that means you're not focusing really on anything.
Right.
It's kind of messed up a bit, right? And so if you look at that gap analysis between, well, what's really important to me in my life, and you see, well, the top three things are really working really well. This one thing over here isn't working, or these two things aren't working really well. Like, for me right now, getting a better routine with my exercise or do, XYZ, right? There's something. And you look at that gap analysis, choose the things you can really do and make a difference in and focus in on those one or two, maximum three things that you're really going to do. Because it takes about 90 days to change a habit, And so
Right.
if you really want to gain some muscle in those areas, truly choose them, focus on them, get real with them, insert those in. Try not to do too much at once. That just makes it, people tend to then give up, right?
Right.
And it's
Right.
super important right now, too, to choose who you're surrounding yourself with when you're doing that stuff, right? Like support
Right.
people who know you as a human, really support what you're up to, really get and care about the outcome of your life. Like support
Yeah.
other people you can, see them less.
Not necessarily people who agree with you on everything, but people
No,
who support you.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
No,
I
no,
love that.
you don't want people who are just like you all the time
Right.
and who actually agree with you all the time. You don't. That doesn't have you grow. That doesn't have you look at places that you have a blind spot where you can't see, right?
Right.
I have people that I respect greatly who are very different than me. And they tell me, but they tell me in a way that I know they care about my outcomes. Like they
Right.
care about me and they're like, I don't know, you're
They're on
seeing
your
this weird.
side.
Yeah, but we're on
Yes.
your side. So make sure you take a look at who are the people in your life that you're spending your time with right now. Are they people who are aware of things that are working? Do they make your in your body you feel calmer, safer? You laugh when you're with them. You feel
Right.
really heard and seen. Those are the folks
Right.
you want to be around right now.
Fantastic. So much of what you said, it just applies so much over to teams as well. I know a lot of our leaders are asking this question. it seems like there's a lot of confusion and a lot of sort of overwhelm on the team.
Yeah.
How do I lead my team out of confusion?
Yeah. 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 Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is a lifelong thing. This is one of my big bugaboos, right? And right now is super important. So here's the opportunity for everyone to grasp who do lead teams or who lead themselves, lead everyone. And doing this work we've been talking about today has you work on yourself, leading yourself so that you're more responsive versus reactive to the context of what's going on. So leading yourself, leading others really requires this thing we call integrity. And
Right.
integrity, people, oh yeah, I have integrity. Well, guess what? Integrity is a state of being in alignment with your word and action.
Oh, I
So,
love that. I love that definition. Let's just say that again really quick. So
okay,
integrity is a
is
state.
is the continual alignment of word and action. So it's a state that changes all the time because
Wonderful.
you're constantly making choices. So, and my dear friend and wonderful person, Alicia, is the one that I attribute that to. She gave me that definition, and it's just to me, people go, oh. So it's the continual alignment. So people are looking for someone to help them and to look up to in and to have reliability of their word and action and to be count onable, we call it. Like really
Wonderful.
reliable. Like we can count on you. If you mess up, that's fine. We are going to mess up. Go back and reinstitute integrity into it by going back and saying, I messed up. I didn't get that to you on Monday. I so apologize. I'm going to give you my word again. Please forgive me for that. I'm going to give it to you on Wednesday. I can do it better. Sorry, I didn't get back to you in time to let you know. Like those really basic tenets of clear communication, being in integrity, you know, treating adults like adults for crying out loud right now. How would you like to be treated? Like, what resonates with you? And just acting that way. That's going to
Yeah.
calm your team. Just really calm your team right down right now. Who knows what they're all dealing with, right? Like,
I just kind of bringing it back to the beginning where we talked about really identifying what's real. So if I think if you're a leader and you can really get into that headspace yourself, what's real right now? And can I just communicate that with a lot of clarity, honesty, integrity with the team? Right. And sort of separate that from, of course, we have aspirations. Of course, there's things that we would like to be different a year from now, but let's just get really clear about what's real right now and what we can action and what we can't.
yeah, what can we do today that's going to move us forward? What do we need today? And it's going to be different from what we might need tomorrow. But it's like today we can do this thing. Let's go do that
Right.
thing. I write my priority list every morning. I do, you guys. I write my priority list every morning. And I'm like, and I
Right.
run it and I'm like, that seemed really important yesterday. Today, this is really raising,
The
this is my,
pond's changed
yeah,
again.
the pond has changed.
The pond's
But
changed
but
again.
to do it in a way where you feel you're in choice.
Yes. I love
It's
that.
it's not being done to you. Your kickers are working again in the frog, right? Like you're able to go,
Right.
"Okay, I'm choosing this lily pad versus that lily pad. And we're gonna take that one today. And maybe next week we'll take that one over there, but not right now."
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, you and I have partnered many times over the years, and you know that what we like to sometimes say is that, you're working a lot with leaders on their sort of internal story and their leadership capabilities and things like that. And then some of those same leaders come over to me and then they work on, well, how do I tell this story to the world? And because I work on the brand part, and that's all about, presentation to team, to world, to constituents, et cetera. And so I think, what's fascinating to me about this topic is that we so desperately need leaders right now who can show up and be that count onable
Honorable.
persona,
Yeah. Yeah.
the ones who will lead us out of confusion. Is there, any insider advice that you have from your point of view on that?
Well, yeah. Now is the time. Now is the time to take it up. Now is the time to be able to speak of yourself in the way you want people to remember you. Now is the time. If you don't speak clearly about yourself, no one else is going to. Like it's really clear to be able to say, here's what I believe in, here's what I stand for, here's what I'm up to in the world. and, and teach others to do that too. And they're going to learn from your modeling of that. Like being able to share your story of, look, we've all been here before. So a leader, the cool thing about a leader is
Yeah.
usually you're in a leadership position because you've done a few things, right? You have
Right.
experience around a few things, which means you've been through change before. You've had something. I remind myself of that all the time. I've been here before. I've made it through. This isn't that different from, 5 years ago when I did XYZ, right? The scale may be a
Right.
bit bigger right now. You're able to
Right.
handle it. So your story is the ability to be able to say it succinctly. Here's what happened. Here's what's happening right now. Here's the thing that we're going to go do towards solution. Here's what I didn't do so well the first time. And don't dwell on that, please. Don't, give enough, right? Don't fall on your sword for 16 hours. And then, right? And then off we go. And
Right.
people get super clear that, oh, we've been here before. But even if I, Sally, haven't been here before, oh, my leader's been here before. So I can rely and count on that we're going to sort this thing out. It's going to come out to a good outcome for us. It'll be great. And it's a matter of being really, if you get clear on your story, other people are going to hear that. And it's going to teach them to be really concise and clear.
Wonderful. One of
Super
the things that you
important.
touched on there that I work so often with clients on is this idea of future forward, which is, we use history as the context, right? Those origin stories are important because they make us real. They humanize us, they make us real, they give us some credibility, etc. But you're exactly right. That might be a couple of sentences
Yeah.
that we are super careful that it doesn't like sort of devolve into just like a backward looking kind of thing. What we want to do is really move that story into the future, which is like, all right, we've taken the learnings. Now what? Where are we today, and where is it that we want to be marching towards for the future?
Yeah, there's a question I ask people all the time and they're shocked by it often. It's like a very small change. What would you like me to know about you right now?
Oh, it's a
Which is
wonderful question.
which is really different, isn't it? So often we're asked about what have we done? What are we going to do? What do we care about? Great questions, but what would you like me to know about you right now? And to be able to answer that is amazing. To be able to say, I'm super excited about this thing I'm working on. And you want me to know that about, yeah, because I'm really in that right now. Awesome. I'm glad to know that about you. Like it just it's more of an intimate kind of knowing of that person, but being able to know that if you can speak about yourself in the way you want others to think of you, like your future focus you were talking about,
Yeah.
you show your potential to others in how you see yourself now and in the future. You're able to share them, this is who I am.
And
And
that's
no
so
one knows that other
important,
than you, right? Like that's your
right?
domain to share.
I think we get, especially in some of the domains that we work in, like technology, where there's this emphasis on rational and it's the documented plan and these kinds of things. And oh, I have the 50-slide presentation of the strategy deck. And leaders forget that people ultimately follow people. And it's really important for us to be able to have that knowing of who is this person that I'm following, and what are they actually standing for in this moment.
Mhm. Yeah. And still getting stuff done.
Right.
Right. I mean, like it's amazing how much more proficient, how much more productive people will be and joyous and engaged. Right.
Right.
You'll get more done if people know that. It's not like an addition. It's like it actually serves and feeds to get that production done,
Exactly.
right? And it's just,
Exactly.
it can be quick. It can be quick, but especially if you do the work to know it ahead of time, like have your kind of work on a little bit of your story, I think that's
Right.
super helpful because then in times of stress, you can remember it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Anne Marie, this has just been such a treat. It's been so great having you on Chalk Talk for the LeaderBrand Method.
Thank you.
And if people would like to get in touch with Anne Marie, it's Archer and Associates, and it's archer-associates.com. And we'll have that link available in the text when we post this and share this as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Eve. That was so much fun. It was so great. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for asking me.
All right, we are signing off.